Dobro jutro ili dobar dan kad god već gledate Teologiju iz jutarnju kafu. Moje ime je Beređi Dušan Bera, autor i voditelj ove emisije. Dobrodošli, drago mi je da smo zajedno. Danas je jedna interesantna tema, a to je da li su borilačke veštine ok sa teološke strane, da li su one ok za nekoga koji je hrišćan. I o tome pričam sa čovekom koji zna o tome mnogo više od mene. Kako vidite, ja baš nisam neki sportista, ali sa mnom je čovek koga ćete uskoro poznati koji jeste. Pa skuvajte kafu, vodu, šta god već volite da pijete, krećemo. Ovo pogrešna šolja, zaboravio sam moju. Nema veze, danas pogrešna šolja. Teologija iz jutarnje kafu je emisija koja želi da približe različite teme svakodnevno razgovora, to je razgovor između dva prijatelja koja razgovaraju na nešto što ih interesuje. I danas, kako sam već najavio, pričamo o borilačkim veštinama i hrišćanstvu. Da li je to uopšte spojivo? Za neke religije kao što su istočnjačke, nekako sinonim jeste da su borilačke veštine sastavni deo onoga što oni rade, ali za hrišćanstvo možda nije tako. Ili jeste? Na to će nam pomoći da odgovori moj novi prijatelj koji se zove Daniel Russel. Brother, welcome to Teologija, Good Morning Coffee.
It's an honor to be here with Good Morning Coffee, and for those of you that are seeing that I don't have a coffee cup, because I just finished my coffee. But
yeah, what to do? I this time I will forgive you, next time no. I'm joking. Anyway, welcome. I am so glad that you came for this world championship in the Greco-Roman and freestyle of wrestling for
under 23.
Under 43.
And Serbia has such a great, rich tradition in wrestling.
Yes.
In fact, in 2017, Serbia was the world championship team, the number one team in all the world.
Oh, yeah.
Greco-Roman
so our team was champion. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
shame on me.
So from a wrestling perspective, from the wrestling family, we have great respect for Serbia and the wrestling tradition, and they host many great championships here. And so this year they were awarded the U23, so everyone under the age of 23, world championships. So
that is future representative of countries who fight on the Olympics and.
So this is the age group. This age group right now is the group. Most of these guys will be competing in Los Angeles in 2028 for the Olympic Games. And they're all here in Novog Sada. The world has come to Novog Sada.
Oh, wow. You don't wrestling. You are not part of
I am now finished wrestling.
You're not competing.
I used to wrestle back when the dinosaurs were roaming the earth, and now I help coach. I help build a foundation for wrestling federations to help grow and develop the sport.
Okay, and you came here with the organization Wrestling for Peace. Can you tell us more about that?
So wrestling
it's not
for
theological
peace,
question, but
so the big idea with Wrestling for Peace is to wrestle is to struggle and overcome. That's important. It's not just a struggle. It's not just to wrestle, but it has a purpose in that it's about overcoming. So to wrestle is to struggle and overcome. Here was the big idea. What if we as the wrestling family took what we know in the sport of wrestling as a sport and we learned to apply it in the wrestling match of life? And we have people all over the world that are struggling. In fact, if you're on this side of eternity, you're a wrestler. Why? Because life is hard.
Yes.
One of my life verses is something Jesus spoke. It's ancient wisdom, and I think Jesus said this. In this world, you will have trouble. That verse has always encouraged me because guess what I found on this side of eternity? Trouble.
Trouble, yes.
So the idea with Wrestling for Peace is if all of us are wrestlers, if all of us struggle, if all of us are in different challenges, the truth is you're getting ready to be in a fight, you're in the middle of a fight or you're just finishing a fight. That's life.
That is life, yes.
How can we as the wrestling family encourage those in the wrestling match of life? So at every one of our age group world championships, Wrestling for Peace goes in and looks at the local community and says, what can we do in this community? And sometimes it's small things, but we want our wrestlers to know there's purpose beyond the podium, that wrestling isn't about just winning titles, championships, and trophies, but they've been given a platform to be able to do some real good and to help people that are struggling and that are in the midst of the fight. And we might not be able to solve their problem, but we can encourage them in their own struggle, because each one of us have a battle that it's our responsibility to take responsibility and figure out how we are to overcome. And what I love about that verse that Jesus said, in this world you'll have trouble. He says this, and this is great hope. He says, but take heart.
Yeah.
Why? Because he has overcome.
Yeah.
He's overcome the world. He's overcome the struggles. So as a young man, as a young boy, I understood, my dad was a wrestling coach. I understood I needed a coach for wrestling. Wrestling only lasts a few minutes and then your match is over. But if I needed a coach that taught me the rules and taught me the techniques and taught me how to be successful, if I needed that in a sport, how much more I needed a coach in the wrestling match of life. And for me, Jesus is the greatest coach to show me the way. Again, he says, take heart. A good coach looks at their athlete in the midst of the battle and they come to the, in the middle of the match and there's a break and they'll say, I'm tired. I'm hurting. A good coach will look at that athlete and say, come on, take heart. Take courage. And Jesus says that in the middle of our fight. Take courage. Why? Because he's going to show us the way.
Yeah, amen. Amen. And thank you that you came to visit our rehab center. I think that was really special. So can you tell us more about that was a group who fight in the Greco-Roman style, but tell more about it.
So we brought our number one team from the United States. Again, these are our wrestlers that we are in the process of preparing for the 2028 Olympics. These are going to be our future stars. We were able to bring them to the rehab center and met with guys that are in their own battle and in a much bigger battle than championships, titles, and trophies. So I think those experiences for our wrestlers is really healthy for them. It helps them give perspective that what they're doing is, the world championships, you want to be successful. They've been training hard for this, but life is more than that. So for them, I think it was really good. I sat down with them last night. Their time with the men here in the rehab center really encouraged them. And one of the things that we got to do that was, I think, really unique and powerful, and I've been reflecting on it, is each one of the wrestlers had medals that they came and they hung on the neck of each one of these guys in the middle of their battle. And the idea was this: we're not giving these medals because you finished the fight. We're giving these medals recognizing that you're willing to be in the fight, that you've started a process towards the journey towards freedom and a journey towards being a champion in the wrestling match of life. Yeah. We want to recognize that. And we wanted that medal to be a symbol of something for each of the guys. But the exchange between our world team and the men here in that moment, it was good, I think, for both.
I agree. I think it was so powerful and encouraging moment for students of rehab to understand that and to receive support from people who are maybe successful in their sport. And so thank you very much. We also visit some Roma villages also to encourage kids there. And for me, it was so powerful moment today when we, when you hug that boy and with this wrestling gear, how you say?
Yes, cauliflower ear.
Cauliflower
or wrestler's ear.
Yes, and give him medal, and that was so powerful.
My mom, years ago, she was introducing us to her high school classmates. And and the sun was shining just right. And she looked at my brother and I, and the sun, the way it was shining, it really reflected the cauliflower ear. And my mom immediately said to all of her classmates, they weren't born with those ears. And I love that when you have ears like this, these are not something that you're born with. It's something that comes through hard work, through training, through discipline. So we're with these Roma children, and this one boy, who's one of the older boys, he wanted to show that, you know, he's been practicing boxing. So he started doing some boxing in the air and some kicks. And I think of Paul's words where he says, we don't fight like a man just beating the air aimlessly. But as I was talking to the kids, I pointed out my wrestler's ear, and I watched this boy's face just start beaming. He came running over and he showed me his ear, and I got to touch his ear. And again, just that connection through sport. That, you know, I think when I think about this podcast, and one of the themes of looking at art and the beauty of art and the language of art, sports, art, and music, it's a global language. Yes. It's a place where the world connects. And so I love the idea behind this is, how do we take art that tells a story and how do we connect with it? Because there's something human in the midst of that we can all relate to.
Oh yeah, I agree. You a few times mentioned Jesus till now, so it's obvious that you're a believer. And this Theology with Morning Coffee, and I always ask people to share how they became Christian or how they start to believe. So you grew up in a Christian home, or?
So I grew up in a Christian home, but I also grew up in a very challenging situation, circumstances. When I was 5 years old, I made it was very serious at the time, as serious as a 5-year-old could be, from a 5-year-old understanding that I wanted Jesus to be my coach for life. And it was a very real, very sincere prayer. It was with my father. My dad, we came and we knelt down at the front of the church, and I asked Jesus to be my coach, because that's what I understood. And I think as a lot of people, that you make that decision and then life becomes easy. But that's not life.
Yes.
I said yes to Jesus, and 2 months later I was sexually abused by a neighbor. Very difficult circumstances. And then for the next few years, I was physically abused by an uncle in ways that was, he broke my nose. I had black eyes. Very difficult. And he was always telling me, Dan, you're no good. No one will ever love you. You're never going to amount to anything. So here I said yes to Jesus, and then my life turned upside down. But here's what I found in my journey is everywhere I've gone in the depths of the pain, I found Jesus there with me. And, you know, Jesus isn't, oftentimes, you know, people want the quick, some kind of magic or what I find most important in my life is Jesus has been with me, and he walks me through the pain and through the journey. You know, I think of Psalm 23 that, you know, the Good Shepherd, he leads us through. He walks us through, and it's step by step. And I think the revelation for me, I spent many years where I was really broken. A lot of pain, being around people, I would have panic attacks. I couldn't look people in the eyes.
Interesting. You was a wrestler, but in the same time.
So I poured myself into wrestling. It was an escape. I would go and train 4 to 6 hours every day, 6 days a week. I just trained and trained and trained, because training, I didn't have to talk to people. But I was having great success on the wrestling mat, and I was a failure in the wrestling match of life. Those two worlds had not connected.
Yes.
And I was a teenager, and I was very lonely. I had no friends. People terrified me. And I was sitting underneath a tree, and I heard God say something very profound to me. He said, Dan, I love you.
Wow.
And I didn't love me. I thought I was the biggest mistake, that I would never amount to anything. My life had no value. I was a throwaway. And I caught something, that if the creator of the universe, if the one who spoke and all of this came to life, if he loves me, wow. And then the second thought was, if he loves me, I'm the most unlovable person on the planet. If he loves me, then he loves all of his creation.
Yeah.
And so this passion for me erupted. And I'm in high school at this time. I would stand outside the front doors of my high school. We had 1,233 students in our school. And my goal for the next few years, that every student would be welcomed by me at that school. I stood outside the front doors.
Wow.
Here's a kid that was afraid of people.
Wow.
And I would shake every kid's hand as they came in, and I'd say, "Hi, I'm Dan Russell, and I want to wish you a great day." And my thought was this: I know that I'm loved. And before that moment, I didn't know that. And so I walked through these high school hallways alone. Nobody ever reached out. Nobody said hello to me. I was alone. I didn't want anybody in my school ever to feel that. And I thought, if I could greet them, if I could shake their hand, if I could touch them, they were going to touch Dan Russell's hand. They were going to feel the touch of Jesus. And so, my vision or passion in life is, you love people and you love people and you love people. Why? Because he loves people.
Yes, that is the only reason.
And when people say why, then I want to share with what God's done in my own life. But I don't want to do that with an agenda on the front end. I do it because God loves them. And so, Wrestling for Peace is an extension of that. How do we love people? Bible says this: all of creation speaks to who he is. So he doesn't need me to go around hitting people over the head with the Bible and telling them, you need to do this, this, and this. People are hurting. They're broken. Can I love them in their brokenness?
Yeah.
Because that's what Jesus did for me. He loved me in my brokenness.
In your brokenness, and now you can love others.
And I heard him say one time to me, I'm going to surpass the brokenness or the pain with your worship for me when I'm done. And I thought, wow, I have such deep pain, and God, you're going to do something deeper in me. And I think that's true for all of us. He wants to do something far deeper than anything that this world, the brokenness that this world has to offer. He is able to do something far deeper, far greater.
Yeah. Why still follow Jesus? Is this reason what you share, or you have some extra reason? People usually say, oh, you was lost, you was abused, so you came to Christ just to find bandage for your wounds. But
so I look at the journey of my life, and it's been lots of ups and lots of downs. There's been lots of things that I'm ashamed of. There's decisions and choices that I made that because I know better. But I'm still a broken man in many ways. And yet it's in that place that Jesus met me. So I think the key is, one, is being honest and vulnerable. But secondly, my life went from being this kid that was a throwaway, disregarded. Then life with Jesus, and I'm standing outside my school. Pretty soon I was the student body president. I did things in the sport of wrestling at the high school level that had never been done before. I went on to the university. I was a 4-time, which is the most you could be at the time, was a 4-time NCAA national champion. I went on to become #1 in the world in the sport of wrestling. Had great success. I remember coming home, and I had had a point in my life now, and I knew better. But at a point in my life when I was at university that I said to God, thanks God, but no thanks. I'm going to do life my way.
Yes.
And I will tell you, my life didn't fall apart. Again, I had tremendous success. And I came home, I just won my 4th national championship. Again, I had done things that nobody had done before. And I came home and I got in my taxi cab and I couldn't wait to put my last trophy up on the wall with the other 3, knowing this is not something that other people have. I've done it. And I put the trophy on the wall with all this success. And it was the loneliest night of my life.
Wow.
To go, I have achieved everything that I wanted to achieve. And if my life is about this, titles, trophies, championships, it's empty. It's empty. So I think in many ways, my journey has been on both ends, from a place of feeling disregarded to a place of having incredible success. But if all those things are built on the temporary, on the things of this world, it's not enough. It'll never be enough. You can't go win another championship. I remember an Olympic gold medalist, Mark Alensi. He had won the gold medal, and 2 years later, the newspapers were interviewing him, and they said, what's it like to be an Olympic champion? He said, there are the lows. He said, I find myself waking up at 2:00 in the afternoon after all-night drinking binges. He said, I won my gold medal, and the next day when I woke up, I realized it was just another day. The emptiness after winning an Olympic gold medal led him to alcohol. So the reason they were interviewing him is he said, I'm coming back. I'm going to start training again. And because in his mind, he thought, maybe if I win another medal, then I'll be happy. And the truth is, no amount of medals, no amount of trophies.
That famous Pascal, that God made hole in our hearts that only He can fulfill.
So I think for me, it's always been a place of that night when I put that trophy on the wall and I found myself in this place of loneliness. I got down on my face and I said, God, I don't want to do life apart from you. And I will do anything for you. If it's cleaning toilets for the rest of my life, if I could clean toilets for you, I would do it. And I think the victory that you find is counterintuitive to our world. It's not about trying harder, working harder. It's about surrender. I needed to surrender again my heart to the Lord and listen to what He's saying and do it. And it really is an issue of surrender. It's not about me trying to go do something. It's about learning to listen and say, yes, Lord.
Thank you very much. So this was so encouraging, and we can finish even here theology. But one question that I have for you is about martial art and wrestling. Here on the Balkan, many times people say that it's not a Christian thing, Eastern religion, they are, in martial art. But what do you think? Your life is wrestling and Christianity, and it's merged together. And
so I love the question, and I would go back and I would say this. I believe wrestling is God's favorite sport. You look at Jacob.
Interesting.
Jacob is on the banks of a river, and it says that this man, this angel of the Lord, Jacob would say, I saw God face to face, and I live to tell about it. And they engaged
in wrestling,
in a wrestling match. I find that interesting. And I only know one God-man. I have an opinion, and theologians might differ from me, but I believe that it is a picture of Jesus himself wrestling with Jacob. And so here they're wrestling, and they're wrestling through the night, and
look like Greco-Roman.
Yes, to wrestle is to take hold. In fact, the number one thing that a wrestler needs is grip, the ability to take hold. And you think of this wrestling match and this struggle, and you also look at the end of it. I mean, this person wrestling with Jacob simply touched his hip and his hip went out. It was not a match Jacob was going to win. But in losing that match, Jacob did win.
Yes.
In coming to a place of surrender. And it was in the midst of the wrestling match where he was given his name.
Yeah, Israel.
Which means to struggle with God. And there's something beautiful in this place where I believe God welcomes us to enter into the struggle with him, because he wants to enter into the struggle with us. So I think of, there's several passages. You can look at the book of Lamentations, this idea to lament, to wail, to cry. That book, you hear a lot of voices. You hear the narrator's voice. You hear the community voice. You hear all these voices. And one of the voices is the daughter of Zion, who says, in my pain, no one will sit with me. I understand that pain. I understand that question, this hunger and this heart. And when I think of Jesus, see, I think it was God's answer to that daughter who's sitting under the tree, where God would say, I will empty myself of heaven and I will come sit with you in your pain.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's where the power is. He has the power to heal, and he can do that like this. Like he touched Jacob's hip in an instant. He has the power, but that power does not demonstrate love. I think of my wife and I. If my wife expresses a hurt or a pain, as a man, I want to jump in and fix it.
Yeah.
And that usually doesn't go so well.
Yes.
Because my wife isn't looking for me to fix it. She's looking for me to understand.
Yes.
And I think what God did by emptying himself of heaven and coming and becoming one of us, he says, I see your pain. I feel your pain. I understand your pain. And I'm willing to stand in the midst of that pain with you. I think of Jesus on the cross, as he's on the cross, and he says something very strange. My God, my God.
Very right.
In that moment, he didn't feel
God's presence, yes.
But then he says, but now into your hands I commit my spirit. And what he's saying is, though I may not feel your presence, I know you're there. And he died in faith, knowing, God, I don't feel you. Where did you go? But I'm going to surrender myself now into your hands. He died in faith that we might live in faith.
Amen.
And that picture for me of God's presence in the midst of our pain, in the midst of our story, he wants to enter it with you, sit with you. When I look back at my life and I look at the abuse that I went through, as I've reflected on that, I have seen how Jesus has always been with me. And he's taken my hand and he's taken me on this journey that I couldn't have done on my own strength. But because he loves me, he's entered into my world. And I think of that moment of Jacob wrestling with God. It's in that place that he discovered who he was. So as I said earlier, we're all wrestlers. Life is hard. Jesus said it's hard. It's a struggle. But he welcomes us to struggle with him. And he wants to come in and be a part of that struggle with you. And he will walk you through.
Okay. But people will say, okay, we understand that part. But what is with the verse that if somebody hit you one cheek, turn another? You know, is not fight. Is more is more surrounding. I don't think that is right argument. I agree that it's okay to train sports, but I want to hear from you. What is your opinion?
Well, the Bible also says, and again, here's God's word speaking of wrestling. That's how much he loves the sport. He says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. but we do wrestle against strongholds, against principalities. There are things that are not of this world that are coming against us. There's a wrestling match. So when I look at wrestling as a sport, it's a sport. But what it's teaching is principles in the fight, in the real fight. And we don't get distracted. For instance, that neighbor that abused me, or my uncle that was abusing me. That's not where the fight was. The fight was what was going on with this place of my faith, with this place of hope, with this place of love. That's where the enemy, the principalities, the darkness of this world was coming to kill, steal, and destroy. But he says, I have come that you might have life. And that's where the real wrestling match is. So it's not against brother against brother or brother against sister. It is about us understanding that there is a fight. And we need to be about that fight. We need to fight the good fight, the right fight. I learned how to do that through a sport. But now I need to apply it to the wrestling match of life.
Yeah. So you say that sport teaches us important principles on the safe environment, if I can say, that that we will use somewhere that is real fight.
Yes.
Yes.
I
agree. Yeah. I think yes.
Yeah, and I said earlier, the verse, all of creation speaks to who he is. There's nothing on this side of eternity that if you don't look at it from a heaven perspective, that can't teach you something of who God is.
Yeah.
There's something of the kingdom in everything and in everyone, if we will have the eyes and the heart and we're curious enough to ask, I want to know more about that. I want to understand more about this. It's that place of curiosity that I think the Lord can teach us and grow us and mature us.
Great. Ovo je bila Teologija uz jutarnju kafu. Hvala vam što ste bili sa mnom i ja verujem da ste nešto naučili, da ste ohrabreni, ja jesam. Vidimo se ljudi sledeće nedelje.